What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Amateur Hour Sports, for your Raptors Happy Hour live stream, hosted by myself, Jacob Gramegna. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. Friday, we made it. Been waiting all week, obviously, to get here, to get to the weekend, to get to another Raptors game, and, of course, to get to Game 1 of the World Series, the MLB Championship Series, taking place in Canada in just a few hours from now. Just down the road. The World Series is taking place. I'm pumped. I'm pumped we got some Raptors, and I'm pumped to get to hang out with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you guys want to get us started, please make sure you do hit that like button. Also, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I'm live here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time for Raptors Happy Hour streams, where we do shows like this. We talk about the latest from the Raptors. We talk about some of the biggest stories around the NBA and just have a good time along the way. I'm also live for as many Raptors games as I can, and more on that in a second. And I'm also doing bonus videos throughout the week in the form of stream clips. So that's what we got. Thank you again for joining me here today. Obviously, we have some big stories around the NBA to go through. Big NBA gambling scandal. Thankfully, not specifically on the Toronto Raptors this time, but a big NBA betting scandal involving Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups. I'll chime in on that one. We'll talk a little bit more about Game 1 of the season for the Toronto Raptors, where they had a fantastic win against the Atlanta Hawks. Extremely impressive, which was extremely great to see. And we'll also talk about the shift in mentality for the Raptors this season and why that could be a complete game changer for this season. That's what you see in the title of the stream here today. So, first of all, how's everyone doing? I know I missed the first game. Watched back most of it. Got through a bunch of highlights. That's the best I could do, unfortunately, with my schedule. But yeah, it kind of sucks. But I just had to miss that one. I wish I could have been there for it. But what a performance by the Raptors! What a win. Atlanta's good. Atlanta is good, and we beat them by 20 points in their own barn. Like that was impressive. So yeah, sometimes life just gets in the way. It is what it is. Unfortunately, it's getting in the way a little bit for tonight's game as well, which I'll talk about. But I'm just happy to see the Raptors win first and foremost. In the chat, we have Q-Man 003 and Spartan Thorn joining us. Q-Man says, "Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors! Let's go Blue Jays as well." Asking how is soccer? Soccer was good. I don't want to be like big-headed or anything, but I am one of the more important players on my co-ed soccer team. So it was a tough game. We needed to win to make the playoffs, and we did win. And it was a tight game. It was a good opponent. So I'm happy I went and could help the team get to the playoffs in Division 2 of the rec league I play in. But yeah, I don't want to miss that. I don't want to like let the teammates down or anything. So yeah, I went to the game, had a good time. It's just, some certain things just get in the way of the Raptors, unfortunately, and that was just one of them. Unfortunately, same thing for next Wednesday, but only 2 more games left in my season. We're in the playoffs, semis, and hopefully the finals. But if we do make the finals, there's no Raptors that conflicts with it. Anyways, that's why I missed the first game of the season. Spartan Storm says, "You missed a hell of a game the other day. It was pure Walter White product on the floor from the Raptors." Wow. Complete artistry on the court from the Raptors. They cooked. Someone cooked here when you see the box score, 138-118. That's funny. Winner One also joining us. Thank you so much. So as for today's watch along, I'm very happy that the Raptors decided to move the game up a little bit to less conflict with Game 1 of the World Series. Now the issue is it still does conflict. And I was going to stream the whole game today, but some stuff has come up. My parents want to get together, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get together with them for any of the other games in the World Series. So, unfortunately, going to have to sacrifice probably about half, probably even less than half of the Raptors game today. I'm going to be streaming from 6:15 up until 8 o'clock. That's when the World Series Game 1 begins. So you'll have me from 6:15 to 8 o'clock on the watch along tonight, but I'll be here from 5 to 6 on this form of the stream. So unfortunately, that one's going to get cut short. But we'll at least get to watch half of the game together tonight. Jays start at it's either like 8:03 or 8:07. Let's just double check it. They all start at the same time. They all start at like 8 o'clock, just after 8 o'clock. Oh, it's exactly 8. So exactly 8 o'clock. So that's when I'm going to end stream. I'll probably end like maybe 5 minutes before. But anyways, apologies for the watch along tonight because of that. Q-Man in the chat saying, I love how Scotty's playing attacking and playing good D. Yeah, I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. I talked about it all preseason, and I think it was it the preseason finale that he played well, and he was like attacking the rim and being more aggressive. Yeah, it's like the thing is like, so we'll look at the game here. We'll look at the game here. The thing is, this is what's kind of annoying. Is that like, this is fantastic. I love this, right? 9 of 14. He didn't even take a 3. I'm okay with that. I think he should take a few a game, but I'm okay with that. Perfect from the line. 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 22 points. This is fantastic. And you saw when he's aggressive, attacking the rim, being a big participant on offense, you see how good he is. And you see how much better it makes the rest of the team. Like, you were able to not have Brandon Ingram at like his sparkling best. He played very well, but not at his absolute peak scoring wise. You had Emmanuel Quigley go 0 of 7 from 3 in this game, and you still had everyone looking really good in this game. What the only like, and I do agree that it is like pretty negative to dwell on this aspect of it, but like, it's just like you can do this all the time. You don't need to sometimes do this. You can always do this. I mean, I don't expect him to go 9 of 14 every game, but this sort of like aggression and demeanor, I feel like, can be present on a more consistent basis than it is. So some of these like really good Scotty Barnes performances are just a tad frustrating because it's a showcase of the level he's able to achieve, and you want more of it, and you sometimes feel like you don't get to experience that level quite enough. So that was fantastic. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, Scotty. Please keep giving us, and it's like close to this, and we're gonna have a great season. He's gonna have a great season, and he's just showing here what a terrific player he is and can be. Gremlin in chat says this is gonna be a serious defining season for the Raps, record high scoring all year. Yeah, interesting statistic actually from this game is that last season the Raptors did not score 138 points or more in any game. So the entire season they went without scoring 138 points or more, and they did it in the first game of the season. So pretty incredible from the offense to be able to do that. Hopefully more of the same. And it wasn't even like, you look at like the team stats, it wasn't even as if it was like a possession battle sort of game. I mean, offensive rebounds, they out-rebounded the Hawks by 12 there, which is great. Turnovers, they even committed more turnovers. So like if we add up offensive rebounds minus the turnovers, we only won the possession battle in those two categories by 1. So it wasn't like it was a possession battle game for the Raptors. It wasn't like, they were less efficient but just had more shots. Like, they were way more efficient from 2, and I just wasn't expecting that at all in this game. I was expecting the Hawks defense to pose a lot of problems. And I said the pathway to success would be, other players contributing from 3, but it had to be an Emmanuel Quigley game. And it wasn't. I mean, I got this, the outcome of this game was completely opposite of what I thought would happen. I thought the Hawks would win. I thought that the Raptors would struggle against their size. I thought if they were going to win, it would be because Emmanuel Quigley played really well. None of that was the case. Emmanuel Quigley didn't really play well, at least from shooting, like 0 of 7 from 3. But you did get a good helping of scoring off the bench from Grady Dick, another player I was pretty critical of from his preseason. Not to say that preseason defines that he's not a good player, because that's not the case. And not to say that one regular season game defines a player either, but Grady Dick was like the exact sort of supporting cast the Raptors are going to need off the bench in the season. So it was really great to see Grady Dick also putting on a good performance for the Raptors, chipping in with a couple of threes. They only hit 6 threes all night, so he had 33% of those threes. We also got 1 from Shed, 2 from Barrett, and 1 from Mamukelashvili, who was 1 of 1 from 3. But yeah, it was just the Raptors were able to beat the Hawks down low, and were able to do that on a consistent basis. And again, a big reason why is Scotty Barnes, and a big reason why is RJ Barrett. Like, when he's consistently getting to rim and he's got his touch there, he's a fantastic player. 25 points for him, 9 of 12. Arguably the best performing Raptor from this game. He chipped in with 2 threes, like I said, 2 of 4 from 3, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Awesome RJ Barrett game. Like, the defense kind of still in the background, maybe letting him down a little bit, but still, like, that offensive production is something that the Raptors can definitely it can definitely be something that's worthwhile to the Raptors. So great to have that still, and great to have that offensive punch. I keep saying, like, they're gonna try to move him through the season. I really don't have any doubts of that. But while he's here, he's still a good player who can help the team win, and he definitely did that here. Also, like, good minutes out of Ochai Agbaji. I know he's 2 of 5, 0 of 3 from 3, but he's plus 15. I think he got the. They're not doing what are they doing? They're not doing like a chain for like the best performer after the game anymore. What did they give? Somebody in chat remind me. What did they give Agbaji for his performance? Anyways, Mamukelashvili plus 21 in this game. Again, just like brings a bit of a different dynamic to the team, being a big who can space the floor. Only took 1 3, made it at least, but it can also like handle the ball a little bit. It's a staff. Yeah, it is a staff. I thought it was it's a Cobra. Like, isn't that weird? If you guys haven't seen it. Oops, it's my phone. Sorry. I'll mute that. Yeah, here's a photo of it. So, I mean, please, like, enlighten me as to the significance of this. Well, also, what was cool is that Darko went crazy after the game, like crazy after the game. He was like punching everyone. He was like riling everyone up. Here, let me pull this up for you guys. This was a good video we should watch together, anyways. One sec. All right, I think we got it. Let me see if you guys cannot hear. You guys cannot hear. You should be able to hear. That's not working. Sorry, guys. Give me one more try. One more crack at this. Everything is in place for you guys to be able to hear, but it's just not coming through. Is this not set up? It was working last time. Anyways, we don't need to watch with volume if it doesn't work here. All right, whatever. Not working, but we'll we don't need to see it anyways. So we just started attacking everyone. He caught Scotty Barnes way off guard. He caught Emmanuel quickly. You'll see eventually way off guard. Here, look at Emmanuel quickly. Emmanuel quickly was just like, what the fuck? Oh, hang on. right there. Good freeze frame. Emmanuel quickly like, what the hell was that? Anyways, Dark was hyped up. That's good to see. And they have a Cobra staff. For some reason. So, yeah. I know there's no sound. The sound's not working for some reason, but anyways, we don't need to hear it. It's just gave the Cobra staff to Agbaji. Again, if you can enlighten me as to the significance of a Cobra staff, let me know. I mean, I kind of like the chain, to be honest. The Cobra staff, I don't really understand its significance to the Raptors. I think it's cool, like a big ass staff with a Cobra head on it. Like, that's not uncool, but like, I just don't really get the significance to the team. Let's read a few more things from the chat here. Aiden Jordan joining us. Thank you so much. Danielberry Sports Highlights back again. Happy Friday to you. Oh, 2-year, nearly 3-year member. 905 Yada joining us. Saying Jacoby is back, right? I don't see him on the injury report. Yes, Jacoby Walter is back. for tonight's Raptors game, excuse me, if you have not seen. Go out there, available tonight, recovered from his illness. Colin Murray-Boyles, though, does remain out. So we still have to be a little bit more patient before we get some Colin Murray-Boyle NBA minutes. Spartan Sworth says, even if BI isn't having a great game himself, his presence alone attracts so much attention that he helps everyone else just with that alone. That is true. He requires attention. That's true. And he still had a good game. Like, he still put up good numbers. So 16 points is fine. 9 rebounds is great. 3 assists. Good to see. Didn't make a 3, but that's all right. Tom Graham joining us from the land down under. Good morning to you, Tom. Have only started watching baseball and still don't really get it, but go Blue Jays and go Raps. Go Blue Jays indeed. Baseball. You know, the more you watch, you'll be able to pick it up. There's some like small rules here and there, but keep watching, and it is enjoyable. I do enjoy some baseball. I mean, I'm not watching all 162 games and all, but I do enjoy baseball. I love going to the ballpark, seeing the games live, and I've been loving watching every game in the playoffs essentially. Keyman says RJ playing his ass off as well. His threes are improving. Yeah, I would love to see the consistency here continue. 35% from 3 last season was okay. It was fine. But if he can keep climbing on that, he's going to be way more lethal and way more important to this team. Darko about to knock IQ like that. Yeah, he really barged into him in that video. He really did crash into him. And IQ was not... IQ wasn't super pleased. Yeah, wasn't super pleased there. Steve Stevens said, I'd personally keep RJ and try to flip IQ for the best deal possible. I still am not. I'm still not there. I'm not there with that. It's just quickly spacing is probably gonna be more reliable as the season goes on. You still need that kind of more closer to a point guard type of player in the team. So I'm not quite there yet. I also think Quickly's contract is even more difficult to move than RJ, but you know, I mean, you have to get a point guard back, and I don't see why a team would do that. So I haven't shifted my mentality there yet. Staff looks like Skeletor staff from He-Man. Let me see what that looks like. Skeletor staff, He-Man. Let me see. Oh, I can kind of see that. Oops, this one. I can kind of see that. Yeah. I mean, look, it's cool. I'm not denying. It's just I don't really get that. I just don't really get the Cobra. It's just why a Cobra? We're the Raptors, you know. But whatever. The players like it. Whatever. Not as cool as like something you can wear though. Like a belt. The Leafs have. I don't know if they still do it, but they have like the belt. I really like that. I like the chain. You know, like the Blue Jays when they hit a home run, they got the home run jacket. The vibes are immaculate with that thing. The Mariners have the staff as well. When they hit a home run, they have the staff, and the staff just doesn't do it as much for me. You know, you're just holding on to the staff as you go through the dugout, kind of fist bumping guys. I don't know. Doesn't have the same aura as a jacket or a belt or a chain, but whatever. They seemed happy. They seemed happy after the game. So how much am I really going to knock them? All right, let's shift focus here, guys. Let us dive. It means to have a Cobra mentality. They didn't want to take Mamba mentality, I guess. Cobra mentality. All right. I mean, sure. I guess we'll go with that. And why not? I guess that can work as well. Let's shift focus, guys. Obviously, the biggest news in the NBA right now, some of the biggest news in the world, honestly, is this NBA betting scandal that is taking place right now. Another one has dropped. Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, as well as Terry Rozier, current Miami Heat player, have been arrested in a FBI investigation. FBI cracking down on this one. Convenient timing to me, happening right as the season is starting, and what's supposed to be like a really big week for the NBA, really important week for the NBA, has turned into a bit of a mess and has turned into a complete PR disaster. Within the indictments, the Toronto Raptors were named, but as what does it say? Lil to Fried? Is that what it says? As the user in chat says there, the Toronto Rangers. Yes, in the indictment, the Raptors are named, but in the press conference, they did call them the Toronto Rangers. So that shows you the extent of respect we get here with our sporting organizations in Toronto. Hey, we can make them respect us in baseball if we can win this World Series and all. But yes, the Toronto Raptors were named, but primarily it is involving the Charlotte Hornets in a game involving Terry Rozier, where he exited a game early due to a foot injury. We've seen something similar, obviously, with the Raptors. Jonte Porter had 2 games where he exited early with an eye injury, and people are able to parlay all the unders on his player props and come out with some very big possible payouts. Now, granted, that money never saw the light of day, but maybe it could have, and maybe in some other situations it has. We don't know, but they've cracked down here on Terry Rozier. This has been kind of an ongoing thing. I even spilled into last season a little bit, but the Chauncey Billups one really came out of nowhere. And the Chauncey Billups one, apparently, there are mafia ties to both of these. For the most part, these are individual things. These are independent events between Billups and Rozier. Chauncey Billups was involved primarily in, I think it was mafia-led poker games, where they had certain ways that their players could cheat in the poker games. Apparently, there was this sounds like a movie. They had X-rays in the table so they could see what cards other people had, and they had contact lenses and glasses that could see specific marks on cards. I don't know. That sounds pretty crazy to me that even exists in real life. But anyways, there was cheating going on in these poker games, and Chauncey Billups was used as a front-facing celebrity to add a little bit of validity to the games, if you will. Having Chauncey Billups, an NBA Hall of Famer's presence at these events, made more people comfortable, I would suppose, to actually play in these poker games. And Chauncey Billups was involved there. But as much as I say those two were independent events, it did seem that way. Chauncey Billups' name was in the Terry Rozier indictment papers, so maybe there is a link somewhere. But yeah, this is pretty crazy. I work in sports betting media. That is my day job, my full-time job. That's not amateur sports, unfortunately. So this is obviously a big story for us at work as well, who do sports betting media. Regulation has come into place over the last few years, and there's 2 ends to kind of the story when it comes to regulation. Because first of all, when it comes to regulation, it provides a lot more clarity into these markets. Therefore, it is a lot easier to find these irregularities on somebody jamming the unders on prop bets for Jonte Porter or jamming the unders on prop bets for Terry Rozier. It's a lot easier to catch these people. It's a lot easier to find out when these things are going on as it was previously. Now, I mean, we've only seen a couple of examples here with Rozier, with Jonte Porter. Who knows in the past how many of these we haven't caught, how many of these we haven't seen. So regulation has helped in sports betting to find some of these, but also regulation has breeded a lot more markets, a lot more of these smaller markets, more markets on players on 2-way contracts like Jonte Porter, or just a wider variety of player props available on individuals. Maybe in the past you would have only had a couple of markets, just a points market on Jonte Porter, or maybe you're only allowed to bet the over on Jonte Porter. So as much as regulation is able to help find these things, it's also providing the opportunity for people to exploit these players when we don't have as much money. Now for the Jonte Porter situation, it's a little bit more believable because I believe he was on a $400,000 contract at the time with the Raptors. At the end of the season, I think he was playing enough to earn himself a guaranteed deal somewhere and get himself a $1 million paycheck that I don't think the sports betting was ever going to help him get. And, that could have turned into a long career in basketball, be it in the NBA or elsewhere. You can make a lot of money playing basketball overseas, and I think he currently does. Jonte Porter probably does play overseas right now. Jonte Porter, current team. Let's just see, because he's probably playing overseas right now. He was trying to play in Greece, I think, but he didn't have permission from the courts because he had to keep going back and forth to deal with his court case, and and I don't think he was allowed to leave the country to play. Anyways, I think he was playing in Greece. I don't even know. He's banned from the NBA for life. But anyways, the whole point is he had the ability to make money overseas and continue playing basketball. I don't think he had to resort to that. But, like, it's more believable with the amount of money he was making. Now, as for Terry Rozier, this is a player who has made tens of millions of dollars in the NBA. In fact, we may have even crossed the $100,000 mark for Terry Rozier. Let me see. Terry Rozier career earnings. Terry Rozier, I mean, his most recent contract was a 4-year, $96 million contract. So we've absolutely crossed the threshold of $100 million in career earnings, haven't we? Yeah, absolutely. We've gone past. So this guy's made over $100 million in the NBA. Chauncey Billups made tens of millions of dollars playing in the NBA as a player. He was a Finals MVP. He is in the Hall of Fame. He's maybe an even better coach than he was a player. Had opportunities to make even more money coaching than he did playing. And I just don't understand how Terry Rozier is throwing that away or putting that career in jeopardy for, like, these small-scale wagers. And Chauncey Billups throwing this away for some fucking poker games and apparently providing information elsewhere. Like, all of this is alleged. There's nothing that's factual about this, so I should say that before we go any further. But, you know, at least for Jontay Porter, I saw screenshots where we're touching, like, over $1 million if it had gotten through on DraftKings, and they were able to take the money out. Now, again, I don't imagine that money was ever able to see the light of day. But, like, for Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, like, the amount of money these guys have made and can continue to make, it is just absurd, and it is so confusing how they even came to the conclusion this was a good idea to even chance throwing this away. So I think to end off this conversation, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the chat and in the comments, but I think to end off this conversation here, it is important to note that these events occurred before the Jontay Porter situation. So as much as, like, sports betting is very in your face right now, and like I said, my day job is in sports betting, so I am a supporter of where the industry is in regulation. I can't agree they can get in your face a little bit, but it's a competitive market. People are competing for people to sign into their sports book. It is important to note that we haven't had a situation since Jontay Porter. This was before the Jontay Porter situation. So it's not like we're at a point where, like, wow, this is yet another thing happening. Like, clearly sports betting has gone too far. This is a big problem. I don't think we're quite there yet because, again, we haven't had another example of this since the Jontay Porter situation. The NBA really made an example of him by banning him from the NBA for life. So I still think that there is good to regulation for this because it is easier to catch, but also regulation existing, the additional markets that exist on lesser players like Jontay Porter and, you know, maybe future players who would be on 10-day contracts. It does provide a further risk for this happening because of all those markets existing because of regulation. So there's two kind of stories to it. There's two kind of parts to it, two sides to it. But I think, like, the NBA needs to continue to make examples of this. We're finding all this stuff from a while ago. I think that is good. And I think we need to just continue to kind of see where everything goes. Again, this was before Jontay Porter. We didn't have any incidents last year that we are aware of yet. I imagine this will scare off anybody, even with it in the back of their mind, the tiniest of thoughts in doing this. So hopefully the integrity of the game is no longer called into question. But it's easier to catch now, but it's also easier to do and easier to get people involved in. So we will see where things go with the NBA. But from an NBA perspective, I mean, I saw reports as well that, like, this was known by the NBA for a while. They tried to sweep this situation under the rug. So very ugly for the NBA. Very, very ugly timing. I think Chauncey Billups is probably, I mean, just my guess, I think Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier are finished in the NBA. And honestly, like, Adam Silver, it's not a great look for him. If it's deemed that they tried to sweep this under the rug, this is another issue for the NBA. This could be a problem for Adam Silver's employment as well. I don't think we should ignore that aspect of it in any way whatsoever. Kind of handled the Porter situation quite well, but, like, this, if they tried to cover it up, this is bad. This is very, very bad. for the NBA and for silver. Let's go Rangers. Last year, we had a player connected to Mafia. Last year, we had a player that was connected to the damn Mafia in 2025. Crazy. What? No, well, I mean, these are, again, these are older situations. These aren't current. So, like, again, we haven't had anything since the Jonte Porter thing. Chauncey need to be innocent because he just started being a head coach. More than yeah, Chauncey needs this more because Terry Rozier's basketball career, I mean, based off of preseason, it looked like he was on the way out anyways. He could, I mean, what's his I know we just looked at it, but what's his like current contract situation? Because like how much more money does he have in his contract that he's possibly throwing away here? I mean, he's in the last year, but it's also like a $27 million contract. He is in the last year of that contract, but it is $27 million he could be losing out. I mean, he's made a lot of money, but that's crazy. But Chauncey, like, he waited so long to get a head coaching opportunity, and like Portland are going in the right direction. I really like what the organization is doing. In fact, I have money myself on their win total over this season, so I'm pretty fucking pissed off about that now because I think Chauncey Billups is a great coach. I think it's Thiago Splitter, I think it is, who's come in as the interim head coach. Thiago Splitter has come in as the interim head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. I don't really know much about him as a coach, so I'm a little pissed off about that. But obviously, there's bigger forces at play than my bet on this one. Gambling is an addiction like drugs. It is. I always I'm a very big proponent of responsible gaming. I know I talk about betting here. I know I do betting myself. I do it. I mean, I'm a winner. I know I win. But not everyone. It's hard to win, and you got to play within your limits. And even though I believe I can continue to win, I play within my limits. I don't know what kind of stuff Billups and Rozier got involved in there, but yeah. Stay safe out there, guys. Even MJ loved to gamble. We know that for sure. I don't buy into this theory that when he left the NBA, it was because of like his gambling debts, and that's why he went to try and play in the MLB. I don't subscribe to that. I don't think there's enough evidence to really push that, but we know dude loved to gamble. Didn't bet on sports, but we know he loved to gamble. I mean, hey, if you love to gamble and you play in the NBA, just don't bet on sports, Play poker, not in rigged, mafia-led games. You can play poker legally in casinos and stuff. You play poker legally online in some spots. Like go on the golf course with your buddies and play like $100 a hole or something. I don't know. Like, do not bet on the fucking NBA. I mean, at least, the Rozier one's horrific because it's like he's betting his unders like Jonte Porter was. Bets on his unders. He exits the game early. At least, like, to my knowledge, at the moment, Chauncey Billups wasn't purposely throwing games and making his team worse. From my knowledge, the knowledge that we have is supposedly there was mafia-tied poker games that were rigged. Now, at least that's bad, obviously. At least he's not sacrificing the integrity of the game to do that, though, again, he was named in the Terry Rozier indictment, so a lot more has to kind of come out of this situation, but the bottom line is it's very ugly for the NBA. Jonte Porter already got sentenced. Sportsnet says he's sending a pushback. I don't really know exactly what the status of that one is. I think the court proceedings are still ongoing there. So, I don't think he's, I don't think he's been sentenced quite yet. I don't even know what could happen there. Could he go to jail? I don't even know. SP007 says, Jonte's NBA skill set would be great with this team. I never thought he was that good when he was playing for the Raptors. I never really... I thought he had a chance of getting a contract for the next season, but I thought, at the time, I was like, even before all this shit, I was just like, I don't feel like we can do better, and I don't really want him on the team next season, because if he's on the team, it means we didn't improve on him, and I don't think he's that good. But I think he had the ability to get a contract with the Raptors, and I think he had the ability to get a contract elsewhere if it wasn't with the Raptors. I think, yeah, I think there was an NBA player in there. But fuck him. He tossed it away and made the Raptors worse in the process. They were tanking that season, but like fuck him. Like while everyone in the locker room is doing their utmost to try and win games, he is out there doing the opposite. Like how can you look your teammate in the face before a game and take a horrific shot from 3 and then pretend you're hurt and exit the game? Like, I have absolutely no sympathy for that guy whatsoever. He should never play in the league again. He should never play professional basketball again. I hope no team signs him. Why would you want that? A guy who's willing to make your team worse for his own personal gain. Why would you want that on your team? Why would you want that in your locker room? I wouldn't want to play with that guy. I wouldn't want to coach that guy. I wouldn't want that guy in my organization. So, again, absolutely no sympathy for me for Jonte Porter. And if anything does come up Terry Rozier, I'd have no sympathy for him. And even less. Terry Rozier has made like almost $100 million so far playing the NBA, right? I'm gonna be sorry for multimillionaire. No, not me. Maybe you, but not me. I'm just curious to see. I mean, are there any other stories out there? I don't know. I have no idea. Try to put a max would be 4 years, $250,000 fine. That's like the max sentence. I mean, evidently he doesn't fucking have $250,000. So maybe he can ask brother Michael. Hey, bro, can you help me out? I don't know, but I guess it could be worse. So no prison for Jonte is what I'm hearing. I mean, I don't even know. Like, is it illegal? Like in the court of law, obviously for the NBA, private organization can say like you can't play here, you can't do that. But it's like in the court of law, is that illegal? I don't know. I guess so. If he's in court. He's probably gonna be the precedent though. That's gonna be like. I mean, all these cases are really gonna kind of set the standard. I guess these are marquee. These are landmark cases. I think these are gonna be studied for decades. They gotta be. Absolutely. They gotta be. Anyways, let's shift our focus back to the Toronto Raptors, guys. Reminder, I'm going to be live tonight for the Raptors game, as I am for many Raptors games. Unfortunately, tonight, I'm going to have to cut the stream a little bit short. 8 p.m., the game starts at 6:30. Stream ends, no matter what, at 8 p.m. Eastern time in light of World Series Game 1. Not only do I have a very large interest in watching a Toronto franchise in the championship series of their respective sport, this is like a all-time life moment that we're going to be experiencing tonight. But also, my parents are coming over to watch the game, and I feel it'd be a little disrespectful to sit here and stream while they're in the other room watching the Blue Jays. So, unfortunately, I have to miss this one. The second half of this one, probably a little bit less than this, just a half. But anyways, I'm assuming we'll get to halftime. Anyways, I'll also be away on Sunday as I have a late Thanksgiving dinner with a portion of the family, which I have to be respectful and go to. Monday, I'm here. Raptors are playing. I'm here. I'm streaming. Full game. Wednesday, I have soccer again, so no stream. But after that, after Wednesday, the chaos of my schedule is coming down, and I'll be able to lock in for watch-alongs. But in the meantime, you still got me for these Raptors Happy Hour streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys are enjoying this one so far, please make sure you hit that like button, and you can also do that and subscribe to the channel. All right, so we talked a bit about the first game of the Raptors season and the resounding win, obviously, which was obviously great to see. It was one that I wasn't expecting, but a major contributor to that fantastic start to the season for the Raptors, as mentioned by the players, is this brand new mentality that they are bringing into the season. And I just want to go a little bit further in the two different ways to bring the different minds into the season and why it'll be huge if this can continue for the rest of the season. So we kind of saw it with like media availability, media day stuff. One of my biggest takeaway, I think, from media day was how everyone just seemed to really be bought into doing what it takes to make this team the best team it can be, and doing what it takes to make sure that like they're playing well, but also their teammates can thrive and their teammates have a good environment to play well. You know, the Raptors have asked RJ Barrett in particular to make a lot of sacrifices to his game since arriving with the team. And like more and more and more, RJ Barrett has to make sacrifices for other players in the team. And I have a ton of respect for RJ Barrett for accepting that and playing to a different role and playing to these varying degrees of touches that he's getting on a game-to-game basis. And he was great in preseason. He was great in that season opener against the Atlanta Hawks as well. But RJ Barrett in particular in media day just continued to talk about how he was willing to do what it takes to, you know, help his teammates and make his teammates better. And as much as I still kind of support seeing what's out there for a trade, I don't think a trade will materialize. I think he's good. I don't think there's a good enough return that's coming back. As much as I still kind of support seeing what's out there for a trade, again, I have a ton of respect for what he's doing from a mentality standpoint, and a ton of respect for how he's handling this whole thing. He's still being professional, and he's still evidently playing well for this Raptors team. But we also saw Jakob Poeltl, who likes to operate at the elbow. He said at media day he's going to have to be in the dunker spot a little bit more often, and he's completely fine with that. He's, you know, going to kind of work for other players. Brandon Ingram kept talking about his teammates. He mentioned RJ Barrett specifically as a player that he was impressed with, and a player that, you know, he was going to not necessarily, I don't think for Brandon Ingram was like make sacrifice is the right word, but Brandon Ingram is willing to play to play his game, but also scale down in certain areas to help out his teammates and to help make his teammates better. Scotty Barnes has continued to play different roles for this team, be it on offense or be it on defense. So everyone is kind of willing to make the sacrifices for one another. So I really like the win for all sort of thing that Darko Rajakovic, head coach of the Raptors, was saying at media day. It was a win for all type of thing. They want to win together. They're willing to, you know, do what's necessary for the team to be better. As we have a as we have a visitor here. Oh, that's it. Just came in to say hello and then heading out. I'll keep it a little in case the dog wants to come back. What time is it? Yeah, my fiance just left, so that's why my dog wanted to just come see what's going on. But anyways, the win for all thing was great. And also what we saw it in Summer League, we saw it in preseason, we saw it at media day, the identity that this Raptors team wants to buy into this season. It's defense. It's absolutely a defense-first sort of mentality. It's a hard-working mentality on that end of the floor. They're going to outwork the other team on that end of the floor. They're going to buy into this defensive mentality for the team. That is how they're going to win games. And I mean, I love it. We saw that in Summer League. We said, okay, this is great. Let's bring the mentality into the season. They brought it to preseason in certain spots, and they really brought it to the season. They have really brought it to the season so far as well. It is awesome to see this. The Raptors have kind of really, found their success in the last 15 years or so with that sort of mentality. That was a major contributor to their 2019 NBA championship. This buying in on the defensive side of the ball. So as much as I haven't been a big fan of Darko Rajakovic as a head coach, I have a lot of respect for him for instilling this mentality within his players and still being able to have this team bring the energy. Because like even last season, the team was tanking near the end of the season, but still, I always gave Darko a lot of respect for continuing to get the players up for those games, to get them fired up to play those games, to have them want to win, to have them want to produce their best on the floor. It never really felt like that drifted away throughout the season. And as the season went on, the first season and a half of Darko Rajakovic basketball, the defense was just like horrendous. Like we had some really bad defense. Second half of last season, it was really good. Granted, the second half of last season, the Raptors' schedule was like the easiest in the NBA. They were tanking, and they were playing against a lot of teams who were tanking better than they were and losing better than they were, getting themselves better draft picks. So I really like the signs that we saw in that second half of the season, but still had that slight kind of reservation in my mind that, okay, this is still against bad teams. Like, what will this look like against some real teams? And the jury is still out on that. But we have brought that sort of level into the season now. It's all about if there is a possibility of sustaining it. Now, again, the good news is that mentality seems to really be sticking here. In fact, it's maybe even heightened, and players keep talking about it. Grady Dick, even after his very good performance against Atlanta in the opening game of the season, Grady Dick specifically talked about like this dogged mentality that the team has and this defensive first mentality that the team has. And you saw after the game against the Atlanta Hawks, the Raptors, they've replaced the win the day chain with the Cobra staff. And even though Abaji wasn't a huge contributor points wise in that game, he was 2 of 5, 0 of 3 from 3. His defense and his mentality was something the Raptors celebrated. He was a plus 15 in the game. He got the Cobra staff signifying his importance to that win. So, like, this is something that they really want to put a lot of focus on, and something they really want to use to shape their identity. For, 2 seasons now of Darko Rajakovic as a head coach, we've kind of wondered, like, what is this team's identity? Like, what are we doing? We're, like, not great on offense. We're also not great on defense. Well, now we have that. Now we have an identity to buy into. Now we have, now we know what this team wants to be primarily. I still kind of want to see, a more consistent offense and identity on offense. I think that will be beneficial as well. One step at a time. Hey, opening game of the season, the Raptors scored 138 points against a really good Atlanta Hawks team who I think will be a top 4 seed in the East this season. They scored 138 points. They won by 20 points. Last season in its entirety, they did not get to 138 points at all. So first time reaching 138 in over a season. So there were a lot of great signs out the gate, and there have been, again, a lot of great signs out the gate for the Raptors. But the bottom line is what I'm really thrilled was so far, and hopefully, again, this can sustain. What I'm really thrilled is the identity on defense, everyone buying into that defensive identity, and the win-for-all sort of mentality the team is bringing as well. All of this kind of working together can reshape this team, hopefully give us a brand new outlook for the season, hopefully can shape morale for the season. Hopefully this can all translate into a playoff appearance at the end of the season. That's what it's all about. This team, the players have talked about it. The coaches, I talked about some streams and videos, like the coaches and organization, they didn't, like management, they didn't really want to talk about playoffs specifically, but that's where this team needs to be this season. And maybe they just didn't want to like stick their neck out and put themselves on the line by saying that, like, we got to make the playoffs, because what if they don't? But the players know, and I'm sure they know behind the scenes from a coaching organization perspective, that this team needs to make the playoffs. These steps, if sustainable, will help them get there by the end of the season. But again, the key is always just the sustainability of it, because we know who it was against last season, and again, can you do it for real? Can you do it in these real games? Can you do it out the gates to start the season? Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can do that. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a commercial with player promoting these gambling sites, former players. Yeah. You can't. I don't know. There was some sort of rule about players not being able, I think active players not being able to do that anymore. I don't know if that's the case. I'm pretty sure there was something like that. At the very least, like, former players 100% are doing it, right? All right, my dog coming in again. What's up, Juno? She's been a little bit cranky and crazy today. So, hey, bud. I'm working. Want to come say hi? Come say hi. Come here. No barking. Come on. Come up. No. All right. I wanted to get her on camera for you guys, but apparently not. What do I think about Houston's starting lineup? That's a great question, Q-Man. It's actually something I'm very fascinated by. I truly am. So if you've been watching for a while, I'm sick, by the way. That's why I'm wiping my nose. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know how for like the second half of last season, I kept on talking about uh, how these double big lineups were coming back into fashion in the NBA. OKC were doing it with Chet and Hardenstein, which was cool. But like more and more teams kind of started adopting it. In the playoffs, the Knicks started finding a lot more success when they were playing Mitchell Robinson next to Karl Anthony Towns, going double big there. The Houston Rockets, I mean, they took this to a new level. They're going triple big. They're going Steven Adams at the 5, Alperen Şengün at the 4, and Jabari Smith out at the 3. I mean, Kevin Durant even. They have Kevin Durant essentially out at the 2. Amen Thompson at the 1. That's mostly because Fred VanVleet's injured. Fred VanVleet would definitely be starting if he was healthy, and they certainly feels like they're missing him because of his ball handling. Anyways, the size of teams, like I think more and more teams are going to start doing this. Like the Knicks were willing to even start Huck Porty in their first game of the season in order to get the double big lineups out. Now, maybe that's different if Josh Hart's healthy, but because Mitchell Robinson was out, they went with Huck Porty as a starter in that game. So these lineups are just very, very fascinating. It just seems like we're finding another evolution to the league because like 10 years ago, it was all about small ball. It was all about like a small guy being able to play as the 5, having this sort of 5-out sort of offense, like, Draymond Green playing as a center for lineups. Now it's like the opposite. Like, okay, how far can we stretch out this big in the lineup? Can we stretch this big out to, Jabari Smith playing as like the small forward, essentially? I'm just really curious the evolution of this. Are we going to find a counter for this? Is somebody going to find a way to break this down and make it so like we cannot have we cannot have double bigs? Or is it going to become every team now needs to kind of get bigger and adopt this sort of strategy? How is this going to evolve as the season goes on? I think that's very intriguing because it took teams till the very end of the season, even the playoffs, to kind of figure out this is the way to play right now. So now we're really in the infancy of this coming back because, rim protection's big, offensive rebounding is big. If you're tall and can be switchable, that's big as well. But like that's not even the case. Like Şengün is not very switchable. Steven Adams is not switchable. Jabari Smith is like decent switchability. He's a good defender, but it's not the type of players you would. Şengün and Adams are not the typical types of players you would see in a double big system. Like at least Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hardenstein, like Chet Holmgren spaced the floor, and he's a very talented player. So it kind of makes sense that he can kind of move out. Minnesota did this previously with Cat, and that kind of was like, okay, like Cat can kind of do that as well. But Şengün is like not the type of guy you would expect to be able to do that. But he's a very talented player, so it just kind of worked for them. So I just find it very fascinating. I just find this evolution to be extremely fascinating. Like the NBA is still changing on a year-to-year basis. The NBA is still teams are finding new innovative ways to get better. And we were like 20 years ago, your bigs were so important. 10 years ago, your bigs were like not important at all. And now bigs are so important again. It's interesting. It brings me back to the 2019 days when the Raptors double big lineup against the Sixers, Ibaka and Gasol. The famous Kawhi shot. Who was on the floor? It was Gasol and it was Ibaka out there on the floor together. Like that was a big part of the series. Raptors being able to go double big, and they probably don't win the series if they don't do that. So I like it a lot. I'm really the best word is I am fascinated with what Houston's doing, and I think they looked really good in that opening game against the OKC Thunder. So let's see where the double big lineups continue to go. All right, a few more minutes to go here. As a reminder, if you have enjoyed so far, please smash that like button. Goes a long way supporting the channel. Please as well make sure you're subscribed. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern for shows like this. And I'm live for as many Raptors games as I can do. We're live tonight. I'm going to be going live at 6:15. That's 19 minutes from now. I'm unfortunately going to have to cut the stream early again for the World Series. Game 1 tonight. My parents are coming over to watch. It's a big deal, I think, for the city as well. So I do want to watch. Hopefully you guys understand. So stream is getting cut short at just about 8 p.m. Eastern time. So let's enjoy the game while we can. That will do it for today's Raptors Happy Hour stream. I hope to see you at the watch along shortly. If not, I hope you have a very good weekend. Maybe you're watching this after the fact. I hope you have a very good weekend. Let's go Raptors. I'm away Sunday, but back on Monday for the Raptors Happy Hour 5 and another Toronto Raptors basketball game. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Blue.